Good evening, Cleveland and Columbus sports fans. This is Jen B, and you're tuned in live to the show of the land on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Tonight, we are going to do things a little bit differently in light of some not so great things that have happened over the last 48 hours in Columbus sports. So tonight we will start things out with some volleyball, and then we will move on to hockey. And we're going to do hockey in reverse order tonight. We will start with some college, and then we will talk about the Monsters, and we will finish hockey up with the Blue Jackets, and then we will get into the touchy topic that came to the forefront yesterday on social media. We will then move on and talk some basketball with the Cavs of the Charge and some college basketball updates. We will then finish out of the show with some Browns, some college football, and some Guardians news. So stay tuned for all of that and more. Before we get started on tonight's show, let's get a little housekeeping out of the way. For the last 9 years, IE Sports Radio has brought you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, check out our daily updated website, iesportsradio.com, for sports news, the IE Sports Radio blog, our Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month, pages dedicated to each podcast, our IE Sports Radio community forum, and stop by the shop and check out the merch. Thank you for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports. And of course, we've got to give a special shout out to our sponsors, Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet. And you can follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky and check out their website, planetjerky.net. Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can get with Cecilia to place your orders at sealthedeal_wax stamps on Instagram. And you can find them on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals. And once again, thank you for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports. Let's get into some volleyball now. So the Columbus Fury will be back in action this week, finally. It seems like it's been forever since they played, probably because it has. The last time they played was January 25th. They will be playing the Orlando Valkyries this Friday in Orlando. So good luck to the Fury as they get on with their second match of the season. They're already a little behind the mark just because of the way the schedule is. But hopefully they can get some things going their way and maybe pull out a win, even though they haven't played in almost a month. But fingers crossed. Ohio State men's volleyball team is currently ranked 6th in the nation, and they are 22-9 overall. And now, get this miscellaneous college stuff out of the way. To Cleveland State men's tennis, Cade Mindry and Nico Jamison were the Horizon League doubles team of the week for the second time. And Cleveland State's men's tennis's Lincoln Battle was singles player of the week for the third time. So congratulations to those gentlemen. And Mount Union Track and Field's Maddie Miles was named OAC Indoor Track Athlete of the Week. So congratulations to Maddie as well. Now for some hockey. In college hockey, Ohio State men's team is tied for 31st. And they are currently 9-15-4. But who cares about that? Let's talk about the women. Ohio State women's hockey team is currently number 1 in the nation with a record of 26-2. That's right, 26-2. So, way to go, Lady Buckeyes. Keep it up. Now for some Monsters hockey, which is not that great either. Friday, the Monsters returned from the All-Star break and faced the Charlotte Checkers. At the end of the first period, they were not down. It was 0-0. In the second period, Brendan Gaunt scored a power play goal, and that was his 100th career goal, so congratulations to Brendan. Then Sam Canasco scored a goal, his first of the season, so another congratulations to Sam. Then Jake Christensen scored a goal, and the Monsters were up 3-0 at the end of 2. Awesome, right? Not so fast. In the third, the Checkers ended up tying it up and taking the game into overtime, and the Checkers ended up getting the last goal in overtime to get the win 4-3. Saturday, the Monsters and Checkers met again, and the Checkers once again came out on top and won 4-1. And for whatever reason, the Monsters website is not showing the game recap, so I am not positive who scored that one goal. As this game was not televised, the previous one was televised, and I actually was able to watch the majority of it, but this game was not televised, so I wasn't able to watch it, and their website's not showing what happened, so I am not positive who got that one goal, but it wasn't enough regardless. Of course, everybody's all up in arms because the Monsters lost 2 in a row off the All-Star break. All is not lost. They're still in second place. It's okay. Calm down. Their next games are tonight against Grand Rapids Griffins, Friday also against the Grand Rapids Griffins, then Saturday and Sunday against the Chicago Wolves. There are some rumors going around that because the Columbus Blue Jackets are not doing so well and are not in the playoff hunt, that they may be loaning some guys to the Monsters to help with their playoff push since they are well in the playoff hunt. Names being mentioned are Adam Fantilli and Kent Johnson, both of whom make sense for the Monsters. Adam Fantilli will be coming off of an injury, so it would make sense for him to go down to Cleveland. Well, I guess it would technically be up to Cleveland, but you know what I mean, to get back into game shape and back up to game speed and things of that nature once he returns from his injury, as he is expected to miss 8 weeks. And then the other name that has been mentioned is Kent Johnson. And the reason he makes sense is because he's already played in Cleveland this season, so he's familiar with the team and, the coaching staff and all of that. So both players make sense. Both are very good skaters and shooters. Kent Johnson actually played very, very well when he was down in Cleveland. He kind of gets lost in the shuffle up in Columbus, but he really stands out when he's down in Cleveland or up in Cleveland with the Monsters. So both or either of those guys may be seeing some time in Cleveland. So we will keep an eye on that. Now for the Blue Jackets. Adam Boquist was activated from IR prior to the game on Saturday, the Blue Jackets' first game following the All-Star break. They played the Tampa Bay Lightning in Columbus. Tampa Bay scored the first goal on a power play, and at the end of the first period, the Blue Jackets were down 1-0. Then Tampa got a second goal in the second period, and the Blue Jackets were down 2-0 at the end of 2. Then Chinikov went out with an upper body injury, and it was announced that he would not return. Tampa Bay scored another power play goal, bringing the score to 3-0. Then Boone Jenner got a goal, and then Boone Jenner got a power play goal, bringing the score to 3-2. With about a minute and a half left, they pulled the goalie and had 6 skaters out trying to tie up the game. And Tampa Bay ended up getting an empty net goal, bringing the score to 4-2. And though the Blue Jackets kept keeping the puck in the zone and trying to get shots, they were not able to score another goal. So they ended up losing 4-2. But it was nice to see them try as hard as they did in that last few minutes of the third period to try and get back into the game and tie it up and possibly make it into overtime. Igor Chinikov is going to miss the next game, which is tonight. But he is not expected to be out more than one game. So they are in Ottawa to face the Senators tonight, and Chinikov did not travel with the team, but he is expected to be available for their game on Saturday when they face the San Jose Sharks. Emil Bemstrom will play in place of Igor Chinikov, and Daniil Tarasov will be in the net tonight. And real quick, before we get into the not so fun stuff for the Blue Jackets, just want to give a quick shout out to Ralph Calise and Larry B in the chat. Ralph Calise just finished his show right before mine, the Yinzer Report, for all things Pittsburgh. And Larry B, of course, is the main guy of IE Sports Radio and the reason we are all here. And he is the host of 3 and Out College Edition, The Defining Moment, and co-host with his lovely wife, Cecilia B, on the Sports Couples Perspective. I think I got them all, Larry. I'm not positive. But, so, that's Larry B. All right, so if you're on social media, you've probably heard about this. And if you're on YouTube, you've probably heard about this. If you're a Columbus Blue Jackets fan. I don't know how far it got outside of the Columbus Blue Jackets network, but The last 48 hours have not been good for a certain podcast, which will remain nameless because they don't deserve any more attention. There was a podcast 2 nights ago, I believe it was Sunday night, on which there was a very, very tactless joke made regarding the reason Patrick Laine is not currently with the Columbus Blue Jackets. As you may recall, Patrick Laine stepped away from the team and entered the NHLPA Player Assistance Program a few weeks ago due to some mental health struggles. Unfortunately, Patrick Laine saw the comments made on this podcast. There were some tweets, and the podcast was called out by numerous people, including Laine himself. So I felt that it was important to talk a little bit about mental health on today's show, given what happened. I think most people at some point in their life have struggled with some form of mental health issue, be it anxiety, depression, whatever. We've all been there to some extent. Of course, many have been there to much higher extents. My children, for example, I have 2 school-age children. Both of my school-age children have lost friends to suicide. I have a friend in a Browns group that I'm in who just lost his daughter not too long ago. It is a real struggle, and it is not a joking matter. And I couldn't believe my eyes or ears when I saw what was said and the reaction to what was said by the other members of this podcast. It was abhorrent. It truly was. That being said, if you or someone you love is in crisis, please pick up your phone and dial 988. You can reach them via call or text. It is the National Crisis Hotline. I also posted a link on the show account's Twitter page to Patrick Laine's charity foundation for mental health awareness. If you are so inclined, feel free to click on that link and make a pledge. The goal is to get as many 29 for 29 pledges as possible to support this cause. I will also be posting a link after the show that will take you to the national website for all of the helplines, domestic violence, child abuse, whatever, all of it. All of the helplines are listed, all of the contact information. There are also links in there for if you need help finding a therapist, anything like that. So be sure to check that out. I will be pinning that as well. I will replace the pin once I get that posted. So that will be the pinned post. But please, 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 if you or anyone you know is struggling, reach out for help. Suicide is 100% preventable. And now, with that, we're going to take a short break because I need to compose myself before I go on. But please, 988, get it stuck in your head. That is the number to remember. That being said, we will be back and we will talk some more fun things. Basketball with the red hot Cavs, Though last night they weren't so red hot, but they're allowed to lose one every once in a while. Anyway, this is Jen B on the Show of the Land on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. And I'll be right back.
Hey yo, what's up? It's your man Bishop, the voice of This Is KC Sports, the show where we go over the Chiefs, the Royals, KC Current, Sporting KC, MU, and oh yeah, if we got time, we'll even throw in some of that KU stuff from my people on the 913 South. Come and hang out with us every Sunday, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's up, everybody? This is Darren Rodriguez. Are you a fan of volleyball? Are you a fan of Thunderous Spikes? Then I have the show for you, Set Point, where I cover NCAA men's and women's volleyball, high school boys and girls volleyball, beach volleyball, and even professional volleyball. Catch the action every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's up, Pittsburgh? This is Ralph DeLeese, the host of the Injury Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Are you that passionate, diehard Steelers, Penguins, Pirates, or just a Pittsburgh sports fan? Then please join me on the Injury Report every Tuesday on IE Sports Radio, the direct feed for all that is sports. And I will update you on all that's black and gold, have you telling your Pittsburgh fans and friends what's up with Pittsburgh sports. Tune in Tuesday with me, Ralph DeLeese, the Injury Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Let's go!
Hockey fans, I'm Adam Kernan.
And I'm Zach Puplis.
Together, we are the newest version of Hockey Talk on IE Sports Radio, The Neutral Zone.
Zone.
We love hockey, but we also know it's not everyone's first sport. So we want to make this show as much for new fans as for the diehards.
Whether you can name all the Swedes on the '08 Red Wings Stanley Cup team, or if you can't tell if Varlamov is a goalie or the latest trendy vodka, we're here to help. With facts, figures, and outrageous fans, we bring you all the hard-hitting hockey news you can handle, while still keeping it fun and on the rails. Well, mostly.
So tune in every week as we go around the hockey world, from college to Canada, the minors and the majors, and everywhere in between.
So bring your cellies.
And your one-timers.
You wicked wristas.
And be sure to protect your five-hole.
Catch the Neutral Zone every week on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
We promise not to pick on the Arizona Coyotes every episode.
You're back live with Jen B on the Show of the Land on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I always giggle at the end of that drop, the little disclaimer about the Coyotes. Anywho, shout out to Taryn Rodriguez, who has joined us in the chat. Taryn is the host of Set Point, our volleyball show. which you just heard the drop for. He is also the host of the SoCal Supreme Sports Show for all things Southern California. Terrence says, I hope you're having an amazing show. Thank you, thank you. And then he says, Drat, I missed your important message about mental health. I'm sure it was powerful. Thank you, Taryn. In a nutshell, 988 National Crisis Hotline. Call or text. And suicide is not a joke and is 100% preventable. So always ask for help. Even if you have to do it in some off-the-wall way, make sure somebody knows that you're in need. And of course, you can always go to the emergency room. That is also a viable option. But enough on that. I will be posting more on my on the show accounts X/Twitter page after the show, so be sure to check that out with links to all of the different helplines, etc., etc., etc. Now, we shall move on to some better news with the Cleveland Cavaliers. On Wednesday, the Cavs played the Washington Lizards, and the starting five were Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, Max Strus, Evan Mobley, and Jarrett Allen. At the end of the first quarter, the score was tied at 27. At the end of the half, the score was tied at 57. And I was looking at the TV like, what is happening right now? How are we tied with the Washington Lizards? What the heck? But it's all right. At the end of 3, they were up 80-79. They ended up winning 114-106. Just goes to show you that even the worst teams can have a good day. It was, the Cavs did not play poorly. Actually, the Lizards, oh my gosh, I just called them the Lizards on purpose. On accident that time. I meant to call them the Wizards that time. Anyway, they actually played pretty well. But Darius Garland tied Austin Carr for 9th in Cavs history in assists at 1,820. Donovan Mitchell led the team with 42 points and is now second behind only LeBron James in 40-plus point games. So, wow. He's only been with the Cavs for a season and a half. That's crazy. He passed Kyrie Irving. Anyway, Thursday, the Cavs played the New Jersey Nets in New Jersey. And the starting five were, again, Garland, Mitchell, Strus, Mobley, and Allen. At the end of 1, they were up 32-21. The end of the half, they were up 59-51. At the end of the third, they were up 90-69. And they ended up winning 118-95. Donovan Mitchell led with 27 points. Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley both recorded double-doubles. Jarrett Allen with 14 points and 10 rebounds. Evan Mobley with 14 points and 12 rebounds. Donovan Mitchell also had a career-high 3 blocks. And Darius Garland officially passed Austin Carr to be in sole possession of 9th in assists. On Saturday, the Cavs played the Toronto Raptors in Toronto, which always makes me nervous because for whatever reason, the Cavs struggle against the Raptors. It doesn't matter how good the Raptors are, or how bad they are, or how good the Cavs are, or how bad the Cavs are. For whatever reason, they always seem to struggle against the Raptors. So I was a little nervous going into this game, but it turned out all right. The starting five were Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, Max Strus, Evan Mobley, and Jarrett Allen. Surprise, surprise. And at the end of one, the Cavs were up 30-24. The end of the half, they were up 67-47. At the end of three, 95-73. And they ended up winning 119-95. There was no lead scorer in this game, surprisingly. 8 guys were in double digits. Jarrett Allen, Evan Mobley, Donovan Mitchell, Max Strus, Karis LeVert, George Niang, Isaac Okoro, and Darius Garland. They also combined for 36 total assists. Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley both recorded double-doubles. Jarrett Allen with 18 points and 15 rebounds. Evan Mobley with 17 points and 11 rebounds. And it was the Cavs' 9th straight win and their 11th time this season holding an opponent to under 100 points. The Cavs signed Zaire Smith to a 10-day contract from the Cleveland Charge. Dean Wade was out yesterday with an illness. Donovan Mitchell was named Eastern Conference Player of the Week for February 5th through February 11th. And yesterday, the Cavs played the 76ers in Cleveland. Starting five were Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, Max Strus, Evan Mobley, and Jarrett Allen. At the end of one, they were down 34-33. The end of the half, they were down 66-62. At the end of three, they were up 92-91, and then they ended up losing 123-121, barely. Darius Garland shot a three at the buzzer that just banked off the hoop. Oh, it was so close. It was so close. And that could have been their 10th straight win for an NBA leading winning streak. However, the streak must start over, as they lost. Donovan Mitchell led with 36 points. Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley again both had double-doubles. Jarrett Allen with 21 points and 10 rebounds. Evan Mobley with 14 points and 10 rebounds. Darius Garland was 1 assist shy of a double-double with 21 points and 9 assists. So it does seem that Garland is getting back into game form after being out with a fractured jaw. The Cavs' next game is tomorrow against the Chicago Bulls, and then they will head into the All-Star break. Donovan Mitchell will be participating in the All-Star festivities and will also be participating in the three-point contest. So good luck to Donovan. The Charge did not fare so well this past week, but they played the Indiana Mad Ants on Wednesday and lost 109-73. Pete Nance led with 15 points, and when you're forward or center, I'm not sure which he is. He might be both. I don't know. Anyway, is your leading scorer, doesn't generally bode well. The Charge waived guard Scottie Hopson, and Devontae Shuler returned from IR on his birthday, which was February 9th, last Friday. So happy birthday to him, and congratulations on returning from IR. Friday, the Charge played the Wisconsin Herd. They were up 31-29 at the end of the first quarter, down 54-47 at the half, down 75-62 at the end of 3, and they ended up losing 98-79. Isaiah Mobley led with 14 points. Pete Nance led with 12 rebounds. The Charge's next game will be tomorrow also, and they will play the Grand Rapids Gold before heading into the All-Star break as well. The Charge today acquired guard Dexter Dennis in a trade with the Texas Legends in exchange for forward Fabian White and first-round pick in the 2024 G League draft. So, we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, Dexter Dennis can help us out, since Zaire Smith is going to be up with the Cavs for a few days. In college basketball, Ohio State women's basketball's Celeste Taylor was named to the Women's Naismith Defensive Player of the Year watch list. Ohio State women's basketball is currently number 2 in the nation and number 1 in the Big Ten. Mount Union women's basketball's Elizabeth Mason was named AOC Player of the Week. So congratulations to Celeste Taylor and Elizabeth Mason. Ohio State men's basketball is second to last in the Big Ten at 14-10 overall and 4-9 in the conference. Ohio State women's basketball, as I just said, is number 1 in the Big Ten and number 2 in the nation with a record of 21-3 overall and 12-1 in the conference. Youngstown State men's basketball is third in the Horizon League at 18-8 overall, 10-5 in conference. And their women's basketball team is 7th in the Horizon League with an 11-14 overall record and 7-8 in conference. Akron men's basketball is number 1 in the MAC division at 18-6 overall, 10-1 in conference. The women's basketball team is 9th in the MAC and 8-14 overall, 3-8 in conference. Kent State men's basketball is 6th in the MAC at 12-12 overall and 5-6 in conference. The women's basketball team is 3rd in the MAC at 14-7 overall, 9-2 in conference. Cleveland State men's basketball is 5th in the Horizon League at 15-10 overall, 8-6 in conference. The women's basketball team is number 1 in the Horizon League and 21-4 overall, 12-2 in conference. Mount Union is number 2 in OAC, and they are 18-5 overall and 11-5 in conference. The women's team is 7th in the OAC, and they are 9-14 overall, 6-10 in the conference. John Carroll University men's basketball is number 1 in the OAC with a record of 22-1 overall, 16-0 in conference. Not too shabby, John Carroll. The women's basketball team is number 5 in the OAC with a 12-11 record overall, 7-9 in conference. Baldwin Wallace men's team is in last place, and they're just terrible at 6-17 and 3-13 in the conference. But the women's team is number 1 in the AOC with a 19-4 overall record, 15-1 in conference. So, not bad, not bad. A couple of these women's teams are really putting it on. So, we will continue to monitor the college basketball as we get closer and closer to the March Madness. I'm going to throw in the baseball real quick, and then we will take a short break, and when we come back, we will wrap things up with the Browns, some college football news, and soccer news, because soccer is starting, y'all. Former Cy Young Award-winning pitcher Corey Kluber announced his retirement on Friday. He was with the Guardians for a number of years. Well, actually, I believe it was the Indians when he was with the team. They may have been the Guardians his last season. I'm not positive because it just has completely, time. Time doesn't count anymore. So I have no idea when that was that they changed the name. It's a year or two ago or 3 years. I don't know. Anyway, pitchers and catchers have officially reported to Goodyear, Arizona. First official workout will be on Thursday. 22 players are present, and those players are pitchers: Franco Alaman, Anthony Banda, Jaime Barria, Tyler Beede, Tanner Burns, Carlos Carrasco, Nick Enright, Anthony Gose, Mason Hickman, Jack Leftwich, Adam Aller, and Tyler Zuber. Then catchers: Michael Berglund, Brian Lavastida, Dom Nunez, and Eric Rodriguez. Infielders: Kyle Manzardo, Micah Priest, Raynel Delgado, Daniel Schneemann. And outfielders: Lorenzo Cedrola and Petey Halpin. The Guardians' first spring game will be on February 24th, and they will be facing the Reds, the Cincinnati Reds. So, that will wrap things up for all things basketball and baseball. Well, we're going to take a short break, and when we get back, we will talk Cleveland Browns NFL awards and some college football news and some soccer news. So stay tuned. Be right back on the Show of the Land on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Are you a fan of Buffalo sports? Are you thinking of changing loyalties and becoming a Buffalo sports fan? Do you even know where Buffalo is on the map? Did you know Canada is closer to Buffalo than New York City? Welcome to the Buffalo Huddle, every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. Pacific Coast Time on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your host, Patty Bax. This is a podcast designed for you, the passionate sports fan. I know you love your sports. Who doesn't? I cover Buffalo sports and so much more by bringing in the human elements. I call it Buffalo Sports with a Twist. Join me as we take a journey into the world of Buffalo sports. I guarantee you'll fall in love with Buffalo just like I did. Each week we start with an inspiration, question of the day, a Buffalo fun fact, and our weekly challenge to you, the listener. Come huddle up with me. Every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. Pacific Coast Time for the Buffalo Huddle with Patty Bax on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. As we say in Buffalo, go Bills!
It's IE Sports Radio. It is your direct feed for all that is sports. It is Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris every Tuesday night right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris is the most comprehensive view on Philadelphia sports exclusively right here on IE Sports Radio. You know what it is, your direct feed for all that is sports. Tuesday night, IE Sports Radio, Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris.
Hello, ladies and sinners. Hello, sports fans around the world. Hello, IE Sports family. This is Cale Henderson, the host of IE Vegas, the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio. If you folks are interested in sports in the Vegas area, if you're wanting to have a blast for 1 hour, every Tuesday night from 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, this is a show built for the Vegas sports fans, where we feature the Las Vegas Raiders, the Las Vegas Golden Knights, the Las Vegas Aces, and the University of Las Vegas, Nevada Rebels. Hopefully, fingers crossed, MLB team coming soon. Either way, if you folks are looking to have a blast for 1 hour each and every week, tune in Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you folks are interested in Vegas sports news, go to our Twitter, at SinCities_IESR, and you can speak with me, the host, Cale Henderson, at Cale_Henderson on Twitter. At any time, be happy to reply. Always want to reach out to our fans. Again, the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
You're back live with Jen B on the Show of the Land on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Now, let's get into some Browns news. Browns assistant offensive line coach, who had been speculated to be the possible replacement for Bill Callahan, is set to join Alex Van Pelt in New England. As a result, the Browns hired Andy Dickerson to be the offensive line coach. He was formerly with the Seahawks and had actually been interviewed for the OC position before the Browns hired Ken Dorsey. The Browns, well, not the Browns exactly, the Haslam Sports Group has allegedly purchased 176 acres in Brook Park, Ohio, across the highway from Cleveland International Airport, or Cleveland Hopkins International Airport. Of course, this announcement spurned tons and tons of speculation, resulting in the Browns putting out a statement basically saying that The team is exploring all options for a new stadium, including spots outside of the city of Cleveland. The Haslams have been in discussions with the city of Cleveland for a new stadium for a couple of years now. Their lease expires in 2028 on the current stadium. If you have been in downtown Cleveland, you know there's nowhere to put another stadium. So the only option would be, well, there's two, would be for the Browns to play somewhere else for 2 years while they tear down and rebuild a new stadium where the stadium currently is, or they just renovate the current stadium, which they've been doing every offseason. However, they want to do, in order to keep the current stadium, they want the city to approve $1 billion in renovations. The city approved $3.65 million. So, not even close. So, as a result, the Haslams are looking for other options outside of the city. Speculation is that this land that was purchased in Brook Park could possibly be the site of the new Brown Stadium. And of course, people are all up in arms. How can you move the team outside of the city? Blah, 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 blah. I think that is absolutely absurd, because if you look at the list of stadiums throughout the NFL, there are a number of teams that do not play in the city for which they are named. 2 teams don't even play in the state for which they are named. So it's really not a big deal. And just to give you a little insight, you literally just have to cross the street to be in Cleveland from this spot of land that they are purchasing. Literally have to cross the street. That's how far from Cleveland it is. Of course, it's not downtown Cleveland, but, like I said, where are they going to put a stadium in downtown Cleveland? And there is nowhere for the Browns to play if they were to rebuild the stadium on the current site. The options are Canton at the Hall of Fame Stadium or Ohio Stadium in Columbus, which is ridiculous. Both of those are, Canton is a good 45 minutes to an hour away, and Columbus is 2 to 2.5 hours. So not really a home field at that point. This land is about 2.5 miles from the practice facility, if that. So it really makes sense. And it is, like I said, right across this, literally across a 4-lane highway from the airport. So they could very easily either have a skywalk or an underground passage from the airport directly to the stadium, which would make things a heck of a lot easier for incoming teams, for home games, for the Browns travel, going to other stadiums for their away games, for free agent visits, coaches, draft visits, things of that nature. Not to mention out-of-town fans coming to the stadium to see the game. And 176 acres is a whole crap load of land. So it's going to be more than just a stadium. Most likely it will include plenty of parking, a hotel or two, maybe some restaurants or whatever. I mean, that's a lot of land. And being right by the airport, it is also very close to I-71 and I-480. So that makes it easily accessible north and south and east and west. And, of course, the airport is right there. There is also an RTA transit that goes right into the airport, which makes public transportation a viable option for getting to and from games as well. So, me personally, I think it's a good idea. I think it's a good spot. But I'm running out of time, so let me move on. The Browns also hired Roy Istvan, assistant offensive line coach. He was formerly with the Eagles. Jim Schwartz won AP Associate Coach of the Year after improving the Browns defense from 23rd to 1st. Myles Garrett won Defensive Player of the Year. He is the first Browns defender to win the award in Browns history. Kevin Stefanski has won Coach of the Year for the second time in his tenure and is the first head coach to win it twice and only the second head coach for the Browns to win it at all. Joe Flacco won Comeback Player of the Year after coming in and helping the Browns make the playoffs with a 4-1 record in his 5 starts, averaging 323.2 yards per game. Deshaun Watson spoke in a press conference, on a podcast with his quarterback coach Quincy Avery, and said he is excited to work with Ken Dorsey. He already loves Kevin, and he is excited to work with all of the new guys that they have brought in on the offensive side of the ball, including already their wide receivers coach Chad O'Shea, and former defensive line coach Ben Bloom just signed with the Titans. College football. I am going to skip over most of this. I'm just going to say the main thing. Bill O'Brien took the head coaching job at Boston College, resulting in Ohio State needing a new offensive coordinator, and they hired Chip Kelly from UCLA. Now for soccer. The Cruise season starts tomorrow. They will play Real Salt Lake. Oh, that's just it. Real Salt Lake. I wanted to put a city on there, but there is no city on there. Anyway, and the Crunch will be playing the Colorado Bucks on Saturday. That is going to wrap up the show. So let's cue that music. And thank you for joining me on the Show of the Land with a Jen B. Be sure to follow me on X, Instagram, Threads at BelieveLandGirl and on TikTok at Jen.BelieveLand. Also follow the show for daily updates on Cleveland and Columbus sports news on X at Show of the Land IE. Next up is the Buffalo Huddle with Patty Backs with all that is Buffalo sports. Be sure to catch me next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern on the Show of the Land for more on Cleveland and Columbus sports right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Have a great night, Ohio.